Okay, so I don't want to be mean. I love your content, dear. I forget her name. I didn't even have the time to like even put it on there, but she'll probably see my profile. So one thing I do want to mention is that being extremely careful with what you put in your body is going to make a major difference in your reactions towards situations when you walk out and when you deal with other people, other women especially. You definitely need a lot of me time, and I think there needs more like vegan girlies to be out there to really kind of not kind of but to fully encourage other women to be very careful with what they put in their body, because that causes a negative reaction in your body. Like if you drink sodas, for instance, and I could be wrong, my wording could be totally wrong, but I know I'm right. But soda has a lot of acid in it, so it's just like an explosion waiting to happen in your body. I know that there is like this really good like feeling that soda gives your throat. It just does it to me all the time, and there are times where I'm just like I just have to have a little bit of soda. But soda is like has acid in it, and it just like when you drink it, it's just there is a min it's like you're gonna be waiting for a minute to explode, like because it slowly by slowly starts to react, and just something happens inside of your body. So drinking some magnesium and soda is just not going to help, because just one person is going to walk in with horrible news, and you're not going to be physically ready for those news. Or your boyfriend might do something stupid and you might not be ready for that, and or he might have cheated, or your ex best friend or your best friend shows up, and your reaction towards situations might not be the best because of what you put in your body. I always encourage people to go vegan, because vegan is the best way. Just because you're vegan doesn't mean you have to stuff your stomach with anything that's plant-based, right? Because you could be allergic to certain plants, you could be allergic to certain vegetables. So always make sure you do your research. Make sure you remember that your body is an instrument, and if you don't take care of that instrument, you're not going to use that instrument well. You're not going to perform well when you get out there. Every moment in life is a performance. Even if you're not performing, it's still a performance. It's your chance to shine and to prove to yourself, not to anyone else, that you can do it, that you can make it through. When you prove it to yourself, you prove it to other people, right? So I always, before I just follow a girl because she's pretty, because she looks good, and this is not to offend you or any girl at all, I always try to make sure I see and I research what she's taking, making sure that it's vegan, it aligns with my purpose, and it aligns with my diet before I actually take it. I love this video, and I love this part how like you were saying like you're not a gatekeeper. That's awesome. I love smelling unique. I'm not a gatekeeper at all either, and so I love to show people what I'm smelling. If it's my husband's favorite perfume, I'm less likely to tell people, but I'm such a sharer that I really will. I think having a good scent is good, but I think it's gonna get really personal when it comes to my something that scents that make my husband feel aroused or feel certain ways. I think it's more than a scent that can make a man feel aroused. But I'm just saying, like, if it ever came down to that, I'll be like very careful with who I give that information to. Just an FYI. So, not saying that I'm afraid to lose, just saying like some things can be a little sentimental, a little personal, and kind of like what we do in bed. I don't want anybody else to smell like us in bed. That's our language, but I'll share whatever I feel like, I'm done with, basically. I share everything though, trust me. A lot of things I just don't share my husband. So I know I did mention about the perfume like a little sooner than I was supposed to, but here it is. Here's the video now.
Last time I posted about this perfume, it literally sold out, and so I've been so hesitant to post about it again, because if I can't get my hands on this by the time it's my wedding time, because I think it may even be my wedding scent, we are gonna fight. But I'm not one of those girls that's gonna gatekeep my favorite scent. Like, if you want to smell like me, awesome, you're gonna smell like me, babe. I am obsessed. I've been using it for, I don't even know, maybe like a year or 2 years now. It just smells elevated, divine. You are walking into a room, and I swear someone will probably most likely be like, you smell delicious. Where did you get that from? This is where you got it. Well, this is where you got it. This. It smells so good.
I feel like that's super sweet of her to share that information, because I share a lot of information because I really want girls to win. I really don't want a bunch of girls coming after my partner. I don't want a bunch of girls coming after me. I want to just give them all the information that they need so they can like feel good and just have their partner. Like, I'm not really the kind of person like, oh, follow everything that I do. Like, you like your own personal little space, of course, but you want to give them whatever it is that they like so that they can leave you alone. That's the thing. Like, I'm not big on like fans or anything, but I love people, but I'm just not big on groupies. Fans are good. Groupies, not so much.
I'm proposing to my bridesmaids today, and I wanted to show you the setup. So here is where all their boxes are, and then also cute charcuterie. I have champagne in the fridge, more of their gifts over there, and Picnic Collective literally made my dream proposal come true with the decorations. I love them so much.
So, not to judge, but what kind of girl are you? Are you the type of girl that likes to engage in alcoholic beverages and just have everyone drink? That's your, like, I don't want to sound mean, but it's just like, for me, I used to drink. I used to be an alcoholic, just to let you guys know. I was like a smooth alcoholic. I didn't know that I was an alcoholic until I actually started vomiting. And I was vomiting way before, but I still didn't believe that I was an alcoholic. Like, I was like, well, alcohol. But that's not me. I don't drink overly. I was in complete denial because every time things got tough and tough and tough and tough, I kept trying to literally drink my life away, just to drink my problems away, just to feel better. And there weren't any like solutions, nothing that really made you feel better to replace the alcohol. Have you guys heard of Sup Bestie? Okay, so the guy that I have the biggest crush on, it's more than a crush. I'm madly in love with this guy, Zach. And so his ex-wife, I like to say ex-wife because I'm hoping that they're separated or they're not together anymore. And I'm just like, you know what I mean? And so me and Zach do talk in private or whatever. I do know that we talk because, he's liked a lot of my, like, maybe not a lot, but some of my videos. And so I know I am engaging with him. And I know that we are engaging on social media as well, right? On YouTube. So that's really good for me. So I love Zach and I'm in love with Zach, but I still feel like he's still growing as my twin, and I believe strongly that he is my twin flame. But I feel like he is growing, so I want to give him the space and the time to grow. I don't want to pressure him because I don't want to hurt him. I don't want him to feel like, oh my God, he doesn't know what to do. What do? I don't want him to panic. And I don't want to get angry with him over things that he can't control. So if he's the kind of person that is drinking, because I did watch some of his videos where he drinks, I want to help him get sober. Is he ready to get sober? Nobody's ever going to get sober if they're not ready. You have to be ready. Sometimes there are no resources out there or no solutions. And when there are no solutions, the guy is always going to choose the alcohol over everything else, right? So Vivitrol is the injection that I got to get better. I always told myself, if I want my girlies to get better, I need to be the first to take the first step to actually get better, right? Because you can't just say, hey, why don't you stop drinking? But you're like going home taking shots, right? Nobody's ever going to really listen to you. So I do understand the concept of like having friends. Like, I made a lot of promises to people, like when I'm moving, not that many promises, but I told people like when I'm moving to my own apartment, So my apartment, anyways, I forgot what I was saying, but Sup Bestie came up, and I thought it was a pretty cool drink. And, when you have a little bit too much beer, sometimes it does make you feel woozy, and you just have to drink something too. So I think you guys should definitely try that Sup Bestie stuff, and it will definitely give you, I think that's a great girly drink, especially for a bachelor party or bachelorette party, instead of serving alcohol, because alcohol is just I know a lot of people want to get wasted, but in the long run, alcohol is going to destroy your body, and you don't want to be responsible for people's bodies being destroyed. I want people to come to my sorority parties if I was ever to have some, or bachelorette party. I want them to be better, to get better. I want them to leave like they've learned something. I want them to leave like they've gained something from me. I don't want them to leave like they've actually, like, a lot of times, like, alcohol makes you feel like you've gained something, you've earned a friend, but in the long run, you really are losing your life. Even if you've earned a friend, you're losing your life because that friend didn't teach you the right path. Let's not forget who we believe in. It's a lot of us Christians, devote ourselves to our non-Christian lives and our non-Christian friends, and we completely forget about God because we're so caught up. Like, you can't forget about God. Like, I can't forget about. If you're a true Christian, you just naturally can't forget about God. But I just like always find myself preaching to people and talking to them about God, because I have spent a lot of time with God. A lot of crazy time and traumatic experiences have happened to me. And every time I talk to people, it always ends up to a deep conversation. It's never just a sugarcoat. It's never just like a few topics. It's always like, oh my God, have you done this? Have you done that? Because I'm not a boring girl. I'm full of character. I'm full of stories. So why should we sit at the table talking about nothing when there's just so much to talk about? So it's all about opening up, especially in the female community. Definitely being able to open up and getting girls to chat about important things is what I'm trying to do here online, is getting people to post longer videos. And I do understand that a lot of people do have to go to work and they have 9 to 5, so they don't really have that free time like I do. But I want you guys to know that like I'm still like my recovering experience is like a real recovery experience. Like I can barely the universe forces me to content create all the time. Maybe there's a lot of people that want to hear from me, but I always get up and I say, I'm not going to do this. I have to stretch. I'm not going to content create. But then every time I press on my body, there is information that just starts coming out. So maybe there is, before I can really, I'll tell you guys the perfume that I use, whatever. My body is like tripping. So before, I completely forgot what I was going to say, but I forgot. I completely forgot. All right, guys. Well, we're going to end this here because I did forget what I was going to say because I was talking about some stupid perfume. So let's move forward. Yeah. So I always stretch real quick. I always stretch my legs. I always stretch my body. I always make sure I'm getting flexible because I know that bitches be hating, and I just be like ready to I'm ready. Like I have to be ready to approach every situation with grace as much as possible. Like if I know I'm going to have a bad attitude, I'm not going to talk. When you go to the Black community, always go with a calm spirit. That's what I was trying to tell the girl. Like, listen, you're about to go approach a Black girl, not just a light-skinned girl, but even a dark-skinned girl. So you're about to approach a person that probably hasn't gotten her mental health evaluated, right? So you have to be very careful when you're talking to Black people. I already told you guys that there's a lot that has happened to Black people in America, that so many of them have a hard time talking with respect and talking calmly. That's because then there's not enough educational systems. Nobody's really stepping up to build educational systems. Not enough teachers. So many people in the Black community are angry at each other. So a lot of people in the Black community don't have that extra support to tell them, hey, don't put your hands on anybody, especially if you're running a business. So this skit right here just makes people think that it's okay to put your hands on clients, customers. Even if somebody walks in there, if they don't put their hands on you first, don't put your hands on them first, or else they can sue you. And so you definitely, and a lot of Spanish people know that. A lot of people from other cultures, except people that are Black, know that. So let's listen to what she's saying. Hear this out.
17-year-old daughter.
Really?
You let Jada chasing men around too?
See, I know you're slow. I know you're a little slow, honey. But don't ever talk about my daughter.
See, Black people are used to their parents putting their hands on them, so they always think that it's okay to just put your hands on anybody. There is a time and place for everything and for everywhere, and I don't think they should even put their hands on their daughters either. But sometimes, like when there's not enough money, there is not enough resources, people get accustomed to hitting people. That comes from the past. Back in the days, even white people used to hit their kids with paddles. They used to hit us in school in Africa. So learning how to keep your hands to yourself is absolutely important, because if you want to elevate, if you want to be stronger, if you want to get better, you need to keep your hands to yourself.
No, you didn't just come up in my office like
Yes.
you owned the place.
Yes, I did. You want to know
No,
why?
what you're gonna do?
Because what I'm
do?
going to do is
One thing I have to say is how a person walks in the office, if they're not walking in your office with a gun, the way they walked in, it fits in heels. It's the least of your worries. Way too many people, like I feel like she walked in the office pretty fine. Like I think she walked in really respectful. I mean, she walked in, that's just how she walks. I don't think there's a big issue. This is really what's happening in business nowadays. Somebody walks in with a certain level of confidence and all of a sudden it's a problem because she walked in like she owns the place. That's the least of your worries. The question is, why is she here? That's what you really need to worry about. And then how you approach women is very important, because you know you are a woman and you know you're approaching someone that's problematic. There is a chance that the woman is problematic, right? So trying to be responsible and respectful is absolutely one of the biggest, most important things, especially if you're dressed like a professional person. You should be able to act. Yes, they probably already know each other, but it's still a business. So I would definitely inform her, like, hi, you know, this is still a business. So let's handle this professionally. And I think she definitely did try to do that, but the woman was coming in with a little bit more fire. So if you know you're kind of like a person that triggers people, I think having bodyguards is important. But it costs money to have bodyguards. It costs money to have security guards, and et cetera, et cetera. So I think, you know, she tried to handle the situation herself, but I never put myself in, I never go to work if I know that I can easily be triggered to the point where I hit somebody in a public workspace. Like, that's like the whole company is going to get sued. You understand what I'm saying? This is not your office. So these are all things that you guys really need to be aware of and be very careful, because it gets crazy. Like, I don't think Black people should be working if they're that triggered. But I do feel like there needs to be Black funding programs, like where Black people can get more support financially, so that they can take that extra time off to recover. But they're not. The reason why they're not doing that yet, or they're not doing that at all, is because a lot of you guys are using money to go to the club or using money to go to parties instead of really, really recovering. So for me, like, I don't even go out to the club. Like, I just stay in my apartment, and if I party at the pool, I'll party at the pool. But I just try to really focus on recovering so that I can be a great support system and be a helping hand, not just, you know, hanging out doing nothing. But you can hang out and do nothing if you're, you know, that you've been through a lot. But all I'm saying is, like, spend your money wisely versus you going to the club and starting problems and et cetera, et cetera. So that's all for today. Toodles.